Okay, this is how you change the color. After you draw a rectangle, this is how you change the color, right? Say for example, if you want to add an image instead of this rectangle. Now I'm saying, for example, I'm just expanding this a little to the further to the bottom, right? And then I want to replace this color with an image. Okay, I click on this icon here, right? See, if you hover, you basically see a tooltip of what everything matters. This is a gradient again, right? This is a solid color. This is a gradient. Gradient is nothing but two colors. You can combine two colors and then give a different effect. Like if I do this, and then say for example, if I change this color, you see, right? This is the gradient. And if I switch to the first one, it again becomes solid. And this one is the image. Like I can upload from my computer, right? I can click any of the image here, and then probably wait, let me just show you an example of see, I just uploaded an image and then populated here. And then you can do control Z to undo. I think this is similar, right? The control and Z is undo for everything that you do on the computer, right? So this is how you change color, right? This is the first thing. And after you have changed the color, right? I'll just taking this back to 56. Okay. So now this one you see here, this is again the opacity, but this one you see here is the corner radius. What does this do is it changes the radius of the rectangle itself. Now, if you see, the rectangle has sharp edges, right? The moment I start changing this value, you can see the buttons or the rectangle become rounded, right?
Yeah, for search also we should do like this, or is there any already predefined picture like that?
Yeah, it depends, right? It depends on what you want your app to look like. It's not always search should be rounded rectangles. It can also be a very sharp edge, like it can also be very sharp, right? It all depends on what kind of style you're going to follow for your app, or who are your audiences, and how you want your app to look and feel. Um, so basically, corner radius helps you do that, and the icon that you see here helps you hide and show elements on the screen. Like say, for example, you're creating a different screen, and you don't want to kind of delete and rework or copy paste the different items. You can just uh, hide the items from the element here. And I'll also show you, this is the layers panel basically. I'll just show you very simple. So layers panel contain all the elements that you're putting on the screen, right? This is the frame, right? So this is called as Android component, right? And then I have a rectangle inside that frame. So this is a rectangle 44. So by default, whenever you draw something, Figma by default names gives it a name. So since I'm drawing this rectangle now, see it's called as 45, right? This is rectangle 45. And if you see this here, right, Android component, see this Android component, now there are two rectangles, right? Rectangle 45 and rectangle 44, but they are one below the other. What does this mean basically? I'll tell you. If I, drag it and put it on top of the other rectangle, right? Now the gray color is on the top. It's overlapping the one at the bottom, right? It's going on top of the red. So why does this happen? Basically, it's because of the arrangement of the layers on the left side. Say for example, if you see rectangle 45 is the gray color. Let me rename. You can double click on it and then rename it to whatever name you want to, uh, right? And then clicking on the red color one and then saying red rectangle, right? So since the gray rectangle is on top, it's appearing on top of the red rectangle. Now what I do is I just click and then drag it below the red rectangle. See what happens? Now the red rectangle is on top, right? So this layer component tells you which element is on the top level and which element is at the bottom of your screen, right? So this is how layer components help you understand the positioning of different elements in your screen, right? I can also do shortcuts using keyboard, right? See, and you can also right click on the particular element and then say, see, bring to front, bring to front. Now we click on send to back, it'll go back. So you can do this by different means using a keyboard shortcut or by right click, on the particular element, or on the left side layer panel itself, we can do all these things, right? So, and I think this is the very basic thing of how you build a basic rectangle on a screen. And the positions that you see here, right? X and 72. What does this mean? This 32 here is 32 pixels away from the screen itself. The screen, the 32 that you see is the X value. Like this is 32 on the left and right. So when I change this to 22, right? See, on the left side it changes to 22. You get it?
Yeah, basically
And this
what
is,
it acts
yeah,
as a
this y is correct, exactly. The 72 is the y axis, basically how, in which way portion of the y axis this is element is exactly placed, right? And then the alignments that you see, right? This is left aligned, this is again right aligned, and this is center aligned. And we can also use this for two different elements. Say, for example, now these are not aligned, right? The one on the top and the bottom are in different positions. Now, when I select, I can select both the things. And then if I say center align, see, they now align to the center. So these are basically alignments. And now these are again top and bottom elements. When I say top align, both of them align to the same level. Right? Now, for your understanding, I'm just making this smaller. Now, when I say top align, this will align to the top. Now, when I say center align, this will be at the center. Similar way, bottom alignment, right? So this is how you draw basic shapes, right? And then for writing something on the element or on the screen, you just use a text layer. You can do it by clicking on the T here, T icon here, which is basically a text. Or you can also click on T on your keyboard. So I'm clicking T on my keyboard, and then so the moment I press T, it changes to a plus icon here on the screen. The cursor changes to a plus, and I can tap on within the screen. Like you cannot just tap on screen, but you can also tap on anywhere in the canvas. You can click here. Now click, the cursor appears, right? Now I'm start typing. So I'm just saying welcome to hashtag, right? So just trying the since we're trying to replicate the screen here, I'm just typing the same text here. Now I'm just dragging and dropping it in the center. The moment you drag and drop this element in the center, the text in the center, right? Figma basically gives you a guideline saying now the text is in the center of the screen, right? Now you're doing this, right? But this text here is very smaller compared to the screen that is there, right? This text is very smaller. Uh, for an heading, I think this is a very smaller text, right? Now, how do you change the size of the text? If you go here for the text layer that you have selected, see, these are the properties of the text. This is the font. So if you want to change the font, you click here. You go to, for example, you change the font here. You can click on this. These are default fonts that Figma by default has. Like you can select the from range of fonts based on, the style of the app that you're going to choose. Or so basically, I think we'll come to fonts later, but this is where you can go and change the uh, fonts of your app. And then this is semi bold, right? This is basically, excuse me, this is basically the weight of your font that you've chosen. So you drop here, right? Based on the font that you're selecting, the font weightage also changes. It can vary from five different styles to from here. If you see, there are a lot more styles for the particular font that I've selected. So for now, I'm just selecting semi bold here, and then this is the font size. This is 17 currently, but I'm going to give 24 since this is an heading. I think 24 would be fine for an app, right? So I'm just giving you 24 here. And then again, similarly, how you can change color is like the same way here. I come to hashtag, you can probably say my color is going to be white or black, whatever, right? Just in this icon here, just putting it. And then you can also align the icon to the. Similarly, you'll also have portions for the text also. If you're saying, see, if you see, this is 4992, which means so this should not be 4992, right? If you see, because the rectangle, the x value of the rectangle is 32, but for this it says 492, which means it is not inside the component, like inside the frame itself. Like I'll show you. I'll click on Android component sound, right? Now you see only the rectangle is inside the frame, right? That is the reason when I click on the text, the x value is just minus 4992. So because I didn't type it inside the component, I just typed it outside on the canvas and then tried and put it inside, so it didn't go. So what I should do is I should click on cut. I should select the frame and which I want the text to be, and then paste it here. Or probably click on the text and then type it here itself. See, if I do it here, now on the left side, if you see the text that I'm typing is within the frame itself. I'm typing this. Now, if you see, this is 32, right? Now, if I give 32 here, it should align to the rectangle on the top. You get it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, since I want my, title to be in the center, I'm just giving centering method, right? I'm also moving it to the top a little, right? And this is how kind of do any text styles that you want. You just kind of, if you press Control and D, right, the text is duplicated. And then you can just drag and drop.
Mm.
You don't have to go type press on T here and then start typing again. You just press any element that you see or you draw or you put on the Figma canvas, right? You can just duplicate. Now I'm clicking on the entire frame itself, right? When I press Control and D, it will duplicate. You can keep pressing it, it will kind of duplicate again and again. So not just that, you can also duplicate the frame that is here. See? So after this, what I'm going to do is I'm just changing it to 32 for now. Okay. Now we're going to type sign in, for which I'm going to duplicate this and then drag and drop, and then going to type sign in. I'm going to change the font size of this to probably 20, right? Now we're going to draw these two things. But how do you do this? Is again you draw another rectangle, press R, just drag and drop. And since we also know, see if there is any grids present here, there are no grids present for this thing. So we'll put another grid. Okay, this is not a grid, this is a column grid. So we'll do 8 grid. Margin is 16, right? So we'll do this. So this is going to be the change now. We just add the color for now. Okay, I'm hiding the grid for now. So this is the color. So now if you want to change the color, probably I'm going to give it. So if you want to change the radius, you can also do it. Like you can do it to 4 here. Just changing the color. Or probably we'll just try and replicate the same color itself. Okay. And I can say saying what is this meant for? This is for I go change this to this. I'm changing the font weight to regular, right? I'm saying this is for your password. What we're going to do, we're going to put a button now, right? Now again, drawing a rectangle. So for buttons, always make sure, you know, they are of appropriate size. If you put just 32, right, they're not even clickable by your thumb, right? So see, this is 52. I think it can be in multiples of 4, not maybe 52. I think it will be in multiples of 8, right? So doing this is going to be 40 and probably 48 should be fine. So I'm doing multiples of 4. Even this, I think 48 should be fine. Just aligning it to the center. So if you press on Alt, right? Like press on any element and then hover on another element, press on Alt, you'll know what are the X and Y values of the particular element with the reference element. So this is now not in center because I know it's the X axis value is 18 and the Y axis value in between it's not equally spaced. It's not in the center of the field itself. So I'm clicking on both the items, like the field and the password text, and then saying I'm aligning it to the center. Now if you see, right, because this is what is this? Yeah, since this is an even number, right? This is a 42, it's not in center. Say for example, it's an odd number, now it will be in center. So that's not a problem. Just make sure you align to the center, right? Now we'll change or make this into a button. Since we'll make this rounded edges side. Yeah, just giving it E, the name, saying aligning it to the center. You can also say, for example, there's another way to pick a color. Say, for example, you want a very specific color, right? So, for example, now I do not know what the specific color is. So, what I'll probably do is I'll go here, I'll just choose some blue, and then I'll try and say until I match the color on the left, I'll keep on looking for that perfect exact color, right? So instead, what you can do is you can click on the element, click on this drop down, and this is what is called as the eye picker. Okay, this is basically a color picker. What this does is when I click on this, okay, this gives me you would have probably seen this, right? This gives me an infiller kind of an icon, which I can use to pick any color on the screen. Like when I hover, you can see on the right side, it shows me the color of whatever I'm hovering on, right? There's a zoomed in version of whatever I'm hovering on. So the moment I click, if I know this is the exact color that I want, I just click, do a mouse click, and then it's replicated. I just demonstrate it even better. So now, for example, this isn't red color, right? So I don't want this to be red. I want to replicate this exact screen. So for which I want this blue color. So I'm clicking on the infill icon or the color picker icon. I'm just hovering it on the color that I want and then clicking it. So it becomes the same color. Right, this is another way of doing it. And then changing the font here. Then changing the weight of the font to probably, yeah, since we've used semi-bold, I'm using the same. And I'm just duplicating this, right? Then probably maintaining the 8 font spacing here, probably giving it 16. And then I'm again using the color picker. This time I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut key for which I'm using just the letter I. The moment I select on I, the color picker appears. I don't have to every time click on this, go select this. I can just select an element, right? I can just select this, click on I. To go back to a normal cursor, I click on V. You see a normal cursor is highlighted, right? I can just move around all of this. So I'm selecting I and then hovering and clicking on this. So the exact color is replicated. Now, if you see the next, thing here at the bottom, see, this is not a fill color. Probably there's a outline here. Say, for example, if I'll show you, I click on this high, right? I'm just hovering on this and then selecting. It kind of picks a color that is there, but I'm still not getting the outline that is present on the left side screen. So what should I do for that is click on this. Similar to how you see fill here, there's another property called as stroke. So what I do is I click on this plus, and then there's a stroke. So if I change the value, right, you see there, right? There's a stroke that appears. So there's nothing but an outline, basically. You can apply stroke to anything. So I'm selecting text here, and then I'm selecting a stroke. Now, if I change the color of the stroke, you see, right? You can apply
Yeah.
stroke to any element. So you can also change the value of the stroke. Since this one, I'm just giving more, right? This increases the value of the stroke. So I mean, in most cases, it's only one or two. I don't think, using three or four unless and until it's very necessary. You don't have to worry about, two, three, and all that. It's enough if you do one or two in most cases. Right? I'm also changing the name of this. We call this, and this also. It's very similar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And
can you
for
like how
mm,
you get the charger things and the icon of a setting? That,
uh, icons, okay. Um, I can pick icons from. I think you can search for icon library basically. That is one way because let me show you. Wait, I'll show you. Um, there are a lot of free icon sites, but mhm. I'll share it in the group, Amelia, like from wherever you can pick free icon sites. Right? There are okay, you can go to the Figma community, you can probably search for free icons. Or also there are a lot of free icon websites called Free Pick, Icon Scout, free icons. I'll share them. I'll share them in the either in the group or separately to you. Right. So you
okay.
can go there. Uh, let me show you one second. I'm sharing a different screen here. So this is IBM's design system. This is called as Carbon design system. These is icons. These are IBM icons. Say for IBM icons. So for example, if I want a home icon, right? I'm just searching for home. Okay. Excuse me. I just got the home icon. I'll click on the download icon. It will download. I'll show you how to use it. Right. I click on the download icon here. It's getting downloaded. Right. Now what I'm just doing it is I'm just going here, copying this, or probably I can even drag and drop it from here. I'm just dragging this from the download, just putting it here. Okay, you see this,
I'm
right?
not seeing the Figma page. I'm still in the icon page.
Oh, one second, one second. You see this, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And one thing that you'll have to make sure is this is an SVG format. It shouldn't be an image. It should not be in the PNG format. So if you see here in the download, right, this says home.svg, right? Why an SVG format again? Why not a PNG, right? Because SVG is a vector format. What I mean by that is you can play around with the colors here. You can resize it to the size that you want and it will not break because this is a vector file format. SVG is a vector file format. This will not break. And but if it is a PNG, right, what will happen is, say for example, if it's a PNG, you'll not be able to change the color of whatever it is because it's an image, right? It's not vector format. If you download a PNG of this exact icon, and if it is black when you download it, it will always be black. You cannot change the color of the icon. But if it's an SVG format, you can adjust it to the color that you want based on whatever your primary color is or what your secondary color of the app is. They will probably try and replicate this screen here. I'm just doing this for now. Okay. I'm going to not use this, but I'll use another icon set. I'll just download it from here. We have to use this IBM icon screen. I'm just deleting this from here. I'm just copying and pasting it here, changing the color to white. Okay, to 16. And then this. I'm changing the color of this to size. You can also change the size of the icon here.
Mm.
This to 24. So you can similarly download these two icons also from there. You can search for settings, you can search for health. these two icons will probably appear. So you can probably use the same um, carbon design system, or you can just search for carbon icons, CARBON, carbon icons, and you'll get this link. Basically, you'll just see this link. See, I just search for carbon icons and then click on this first link. I just come here, and if I search for settings, it says another icon, right? So see, the different varieties of the settings icons and
Mm.
you'll see. And if you search for help, you'll get. I think most of the icons that you might need might be here. If not, just let me know and I'll help you probably. Or you can search on the web and then see if you find the way.
Okay.
Yeah. And for more complex screens, say for example, a screen like this, right? This is a little complex screen, right?
Mm.
So these are again the top and the search remains the same. This is just an icon, a rounded rectangle, and then
Mm.
this is again the text. But for how do you put this, right? Let's just try and replicate this, and then probably we'll end the class here for today.
Yeah,
Mm,
like this is how by creating a rectangles and
mm,
uploading the image for those things, right?
yeah, I'll just show you that. We'll delete all of this. Okay, consider this like an home screen of vacation rental app, or you booking a room when you're doing during your vacation, right? So it's probably a section of the screen itself. But how do you create this, right? We'll just do it from scratch. So ignore the app bar here on top. So this is basically nothing but rectangles, right? So I'm just again drawing a rectangle, pressing on R. I'm just creating this. Right now we'll also do the right. We'll just do this inside the same frame. I'm deleting everything that is here. Okay. I'm just trying to going to replicate this. This is okay. I'm drawing a rectangle again. Let's see what is the height of this. 191 by 315. You don't have to maybe follow the exact thing, but we just try and align it to the grid here. So again, just like this, and half of 300 is I'm just going to do 40 so that I can replicate and maintain. I'm just maintaining the 1616 here. Okay. Okay. So I'm just so just put rectangles that replicate the layout here or the structure here, right? This is one. I'm not going to add any image. I'm just going to, very simply try and create the basic structure or the wireframe level elements here. Now, what it is, this is the title of the apartment or the room itself, right? I'm just going to name it same. Modern apartment in city. Now, what I do is I just name it to the left and then see this if the space in this right. Okay. I'm just naming it modern apartment. Not even, I'm not even going to complicate it. Okay, this is modern apartment. Then for titles, probably we'll use 20. Okay, for headings, we'll probably use 20. And then this is modern apartment. The next one is a small description of what this room is, right? So I'm just going to get a duplicate. I press down Control and D. I'm just going to type in the same content that is there. Okay, I'll just do C dot. So now I want to change the size of this to maintain hierarchy, right? I'm just going to do a 14 here, and then just going to change the font weight to regular. I'm just going to say you can expand this till here. So yeah, right. Now to maintain a better hierarchy, what I'm doing is I'm just changing the color to a little grayish to give it a little less, prominence, right? The reason these three things are, different in size and different in color are to maintain hierarchy. The moment you look at this section alone, the first thing that you see are the images. The next thing is probably the name of the room or whatever it is, right? The next thing that immediately attracts your eye is the price, because that is the important factor for a user to make a decision. So, for example, if this is 120 per night and this is 200 per night, and that is very prominently shown to you, you immediately say, "Oh no, I'm not. I'm running a tight budget, so I cannot do a 200 per night room, right? Like, I'm just going to do a 120 per night." So your chances of clicking on the one at the top than at the bottom is even higher, and the time you take to make a decision is again very less, because this is given more prominence than the probably the stars here. The stars here are your third priority here, right? So I think that is how you do it probably. Probably here I'm not going to put the 4.8 stars here. I'm going to do it at the bottom, right? But how do you do a star? For now, we have just seen rectangles and square, right? But how do you do a star here? Same way, click on this drop down here next to the shapes thing, and then you see a star symbol here. You just press that, and then again inside the frame, you just do another thing here. So how do you resize this? You can either do it by going to the values of the width and height, or you can press on shift and then just click and drag on any of the corner to whichever size you want, right? So the ideal size here would be, I'm just doing a 20 here, right? And it can either be gray, or if you want to say, I'm going to give it a little more prominence so that the user, kind of sees what is the review for this exact room is. I'm just going to change it to yellow color. So it will probably be this, right? Yeah. And I'm choosing to do it as part of, uh, even before the description. I'm going to say I'm going to put it here. Then probably, yeah, 4.8. I don't even have to say 4.8 stars. I think it doesn't make sense, right? So I'm just going to say 4.8. And then I'm just going to make it regular, but change the color to white anyway, right? And for you to group same, grouping similar elements, right? So for example, this star and this 4.8 are, in some sense, they are together, right? They're not two different things here. They both mean the same thing, or they both need to be together to kind of define proper, information to the user. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to say these two are the same group. So if you see here on the left side, right, on the layers panel, the star is as it's a different layer, and this text 4.8 is a different layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both, for which I can either do press on shift and then select both. So both of them are selected. Or I can just press on, the go to the layer, press on shift and then select this. Both ways, both the items are selected together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to group them. For grouping, what I can do is I just press and control and either I click G, right? If you see you're on the left side, it's now grouped. And this rectangle, the blue color rectangle also, previously if you saw, right? If you see before grouping, 4.8 and the star had separate strokes for them. This had a blue color bottom line that is running, and then star also has another stroke for it. The moment I say I'm going to group it, you can see the bar here disappearing. See, which means they are now part of the same frame. Like if you see here, right, this it's called as a group three because now they are grouped, and you also see an accordion kind of an icon here. The moment I click on this, I'll be able to see, or what are the other elements that are part of the group, right? I can again ungroup by saying I press on shift control and G. Now they are ungrouped. You can see the line again appearing, or I can say I can You can also do the right click and then say group selection. See, now again it's grouped, right? So this is how you also group elements. And now I'm going to say probably put the same weightage and then say 120. Right. And probably if you see now, this is not properly aligned, right? This 4.8 is not, sitting very well with the hierarchy here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it, align it to this, and move it to the top. And this is going to be pixel 8. I'm going to do this textile for this. Going to say I'm going to make it. Probably this might work, right? Or you can also say put it together with a small spacing here. The reason I'm not putting it here is again two things, right? This might seem okay, it looks good, but the reason I'm not going to do that is it will anyway occupy a specific or a fixed question here. Say, for example, if this modern apartment is bigger in size, similar to how this is here, I cannot put it in single line. I'll have to either truncate it, like I'll have to take it to the next line so that the spacing also now increases. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to this bottom 4 point. Like basically, I'm just trying to arrange the kind of information that I want the users to see. So just like I'm going to, I think like this is what actually matters. You can probably change all the, you don't have to, if you say a screen, you don't have to probably replicate the same thing and then try and do, okay. Now what we'll do is we'll just, replicate, add images to this. So there are two things of how you can add an image. Like similarly, how I showed you, click this. You probably have some images downloaded on your, laptop or the system already. So you click on an image, and then you say upload from your computer. So your upload window appears. You select from whatever you want. Right. This is one way of uploading an image. Another way is to say, okay, I already have an image in my Figma. Like we have image here, or I already have an image on a screen. Now, how do I, you know, copy and paste the same image here? So I click this, since this is a screen that I already did, right? Or this is generated using AI. I generated this using Figma's AI. So I'm just clicking on this image, right? What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to say copy. Again, I copied it here. Like you just control C, some very, usual copy method. And then I'm just saying I'm going to paste it here. Now, if you see, the exact image is pasted or it's exactly replicated, this same size and all of that is replicated, but I don't want, this is one way of saying I'll paste the same image dimensions and all that. But if you're saying I don't want the exact image, I just want this image to be pasted in this dimensions of the rectangle. So what I do for that is I'm just saying there'll be something called as copy selection. I'm sorry if it is here. I'm just copying properties. Let's see if it works. Didn't work, right? So there's another way. Which you see what I did. So there's a different thing. I'll show you what I didn't. In the previous case, what I did is I just pressed on Control and C and then pasted it here. So it just copies the exact image and then pastes it here. But there's another way in which you can do something a little interesting. I'll show you. I think you'll understand it better with the button. I'll show you what I want to do. I'm just going to do this zero. Okay. If I'm going to say, I'm just going to similarly for easy understanding, I'm just going to say I'm just copying this button and then I'm going to put it here. I'm just going to say I'm pasting it. It will just copy that exact button and then put it here. It will not change, the width, the height. It will not change anything. It will just copy the same element and then put it here. But for example, here the width of the button is 361, but for me the width is 380. So I don't want um, what to say. So I don't want this exact button to be pasted, but I want this properties. That basically the properties are the rounded rectangles, the colors, the height, probably, right? All of this to be pasted into this button. I already have a button. I just want the colors and the style. So what I do for that is instead of just doing Command and C, I now do Shift, Command, and then C, right? Okay. See, you see this?
Shift to command and say, and you'll paste in that.
Yeah, I think once again it's options. So for you, I think it's Alt Command. For Windows, I think it's not Shift but Alt Command and C. What happens is it basically copies all the properties of any element that you're selecting, and then I'm pasting it here. Now you see the rounded rectangles, the color, everything is copied. Very similarly, I'll do that here. I'm just pressing on this image here. I'm just again doing Alt Command and C. Right, this copy is basically Just basically copy the properties. You can also right click and say copy properties. You can again come here. You can again do alt command and paste. It will exactly paste that image into this dimensions, right? Again, we'll do that for this image. We'll probably do the right click here instead of a keyboard shortcut. I'm just saying copy properties, coming here and then saying paste properties. You see? So this is a vertical rectangle, but this is an horizontal rectangle. But the image exactly fits here, right? I didn't do anything else. I just copied the properties of the image on the left and then pasted it on the right. You can do this for any image, not just image. You can also do it for any element on the frame. We'll try it. I'll try it with the text, right? Instead, if you say we're just copying and pasting it here, we'll just copy the same text here, right? But instead, I'm saying for this text here, I want the style of this to be copied to this text. What I'm doing is I'm again doing copy properties and then I'm pasting it here. You see, the properties are now pasted. You can do this for any element on the screen basically. I'm doing this for this image. So just to replicate, I'm just moving it here. Yeah, we now almost replicated the same thing. Now there's a rectangle here, right? I'm not going to do that, but yeah, see, it's very similar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any doubts?
No, sir. Now I understood.
Okay. Just stop this recording now.